I'm Michelle.
I'm Chris.
And I'm SP from the Starling Tribune,
a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeek.com.
And get ready because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
Welcome back to the Intellectual Podcast. I'm your host, David Dawson. I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's listening to the podcast. We thank you for joining us. I imagine many of you will be listening to this podcast today in the next couple of days on long travels, sitting in tons of traffic. And for those of you, I say be safe, stay warm, and hopefully you get to your destinations on time. Hey, if you've got a little bit of time, come chat with the Gonna Geek Network podcast hosts and listeners on our new Discord server. There's a channel for every Gonna Geek show, as well as some general channels for all your geeky chat needs. Find the server at gonnageek.com/discord. It's a pretty cool service. I've been enjoying chatting with people there. I hope you join us. Again, that's Gonna Geek Network on Discord at gonnageek.com/discord. Today's episode is with Karenssa LeGear. It's a joy to have her back on the show, and it's appropriately Thanksgiving/Christmas holiday themed, as Karenssa talks about the fact that she'll be singing the national anthem on Thanksgiving Day at an event here in Oceanside, California. And this Saturday, you'll be able to catch her on the Lifetime channel on a holiday film called Christmas Harmony. It's a great chat with Karenssa. We always love catching up with her, and I hope you enjoy it. We talk a lot about filmmaking and what it's like to be on various types of sets, and just a whole lot of conversations. If you're into acting, this show's for you. A lot of our conversations are about the art of film and how actors and filmmakers come to their craft. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great holiday. We've got a number of shows coming for you on December 1st, which we will be live streaming off of our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So I hope you will join us on December 1st as we live stream the next 3 or 4 episodes of the Intellectual Podcast. We'll probably start doing that more often as we've signed up with Voice and Video Sales here in San Diego to use their live stream studio to become a home for the show for the foreseeable future. And I think you'll enjoy it. So we'll be live streaming shows and then dropping their audio podcasts over the several weeks that follow. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. It'll be interactive. So we should be able to take questions from the audience. So, if you like watching live streams more than you like listening to audio, you have another way to consume the Intellectual Podcast. So until December 1st, I hope you enjoy this episode with the effervescent Karenssa LeGear on the 229th episode of the Intellectual Podcast.
Talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. The Intellectual Podcast starts now.
Hi, Karenssa.
Hello, Dave Dawson and people of the world.
When were you on the show last?
Oh, facts already. Question and answer time. I feel like it was maybe a year ago or 2 years.
You were I think it was a year ago. You were episode 197 or something.
Oh, thanks for remembering my number. It was around Carving a Life premiere time. I think that was the impetus behind.
Yeah, so that was a little over a year ago.
Yeah. You know my life better than I do. Thank you.
Well, that was when I was helping teach some stuff with Terry. So I've got a reference point.
Oh, was that around the same time? I know we carpooled there. I think it was several months after though.
Yeah. So it was around that time. But cool. Yeah, I mean we didn't do as many episodes this year of the show. So
what number am I this time?
This will be episode 229.
229. Yeah. What?
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Happy Thanksgiving, people of the world, and Dave Dawson.
Yeah, so this is an unexpected bonus. We have a Thanksgiving episode with the lovely and talented Karenssa LeGear.
Why, thank you. And I didn't ask myself onto the show at all, by the way. I can't keep a secret. Gosh darn it.
It's fine. People ask to be on the show all the time.
Really?
So, yeah, it's not.
Oh, it's so...
I'd say at least half of the guests are like, hey, can I be on the show?
Really?
Sure. Yeah, fine.
I have trouble asking for things in life in general. So like...
I find that hard to believe.
Really? Oh, no.
You've got us all fooled.
No, I'm like really... I know I had an acting teacher once say that to me. He's like, why don't you just ask for what you want? I'm like... No, you don't get it. That's not what I'm about. That's not my philosophy. My philosophy is keep your head down, your nose clean, and do your job, and people will notice. But the thing is, they don't. And like everyone was always like, why don't you just, step up and ask to do the thing that you want to do? And I'm just like, so yeah.
Do you think that we were talking a little bit before we started recording?
We did a rough
and
draft.
the Me Too stuff came up.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is something I've not chimed in much on. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge supporter of the movement. But do you think that behavior of like not asking for what you want, is that a unique Karenssa LeGear thing, or is that a gender thing? I've heard it from people say that they think it's kind of a gender thing because guys don't have as much of a problem, it seems, just kind of demanding the things that they feel they deserve.
Right. Ooh, I think it is all of the above because there are definitely women who do not have that same. I don't relate to them in that way because they're very good and capable and great at stepping up and going for those things. It's something that because of, the Me Too movement, I actually wonder and question and theorize on myself these days. Why am I this way? Do I like that I'm this way? I am this way because I like to be this way, or, I need to, change, be better. It's very curious to me. So I'm still exploring that. But for a very long time, it felt like a very me thing, individual to me, because also I don't think for me, it comes out of just fear. It comes from the philosophy of keep my head down, work hard, and like it's just Pollyanna. It's very naive and well,
there's got to be a balance between politeness and and drive.
Well, I think I just hang on to these very childhood Disney or whatever lessons that we were supposed to learn. You do good, you get good, or you work hard, everything works out in the end, and it's so weird because then right after that I'll say, yeah, it's not necessarily true. But at the same time, it doesn't change my philosophy on it. I'm like, well, this is how I want to do things, so that's how I'm going to do it. So I want to get better about speaking up and going after what I want. But I suppose perhaps it comes from the fact that I don't trust my ability to step up in the way that I am okay with. Because you can know you want something or want more, but articulating it in a way that you are also good with can be difficult. And when you try saying things for the first time, new things, you don't always succeed.
Right.
So maybe it would come off wrong, and then the worrying happens. But it's a process. It's something that you and I spoke about earlier, is also the deep appreciation I have for the men who do step up and open the door, figuratively, to women taking on these new roles and positions, which I'm saying new roles and positions because I just had this experience with the wonderful John Freeman, who allowed me to, he invited me to, he didn't allow me, he wasn't keeping me from doing it before. He invited me to collaborate with him on the recent FilmCon competition for horror films. And hey, I've always wanted to direct, and I always want to continue expanding what I do in this industry while also still acting. But man, did it mean the world to me to have someone just say, it's here and ready for you if you just want to walk through the door. Yeah. And so I could.
Well, and good on you for taking advantage of that.
Good on him for making it possible.
Because I've been in the position where I've offered that to people, to women specifically, and for whatever reason or another, they don't walk through the door, and I actually, at Oceanside International, I attended the Women in Film panel there, and it was a question I asked, like how do I, as a man who wants to encourage the women that I work with to maybe see more for themselves than they've kind of allowed themselves to see, how do I encourage that without being overbearing?
Well, I
in
mean,
trying to encourage it, you know?
it's like I say, like I always had the curiosity, have intended to always branch out and do it, and had actually active plans to do it. I'm doing something next year. But it's really overwhelming, especially because I'm coming from a different branch on the tree, acting, you know, so to just jump on over to something else, am I going to have that support system? So having someone else meet me halfway really helped to cultivate some more confidence in that and trust that we will be okay.
Right.
And I will be okay, I guess. Yeah.
I like to say it all the time. I say it on the show, and I say it, you know, in my personal life all the time. You know, your success is my success, and I firmly believe in that. So, you know, if any of my female compatriots are listening to the show, you know, hey, when I offer you the opportunity to do big things, you know, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'll be there to help and provide guidance and assistance where necessary. But like, I'd really like to see, like my sister is a perfect example. Like, I've been really trying to help her see herself as a director, not just as, you know, my producer, you know, like she's way more than just my producer. She's an incredible, forceful talent and creative on her own, you know? And so I've been trying to like create opportunities for her to excel and find her way, you know, in that, in a way that she didn't see for herself. And I think she's starting to now, conversations I'm having with her now. She definitely wants to keep co-directing with me in the foreseeable future, and may even take up the mantle of being a solo director on a project that I'm maybe stepping away from as a director in the future. So, you know,
that's so awesome.
It's wonderful. You know, it's wonderful. But, you know, it wasn't easy getting her to see that for herself, you know.
Yeah. I mean, and who's to say how much I absorb just from how things have been, and that's therefore, you know, or even the media that I took in, you know, all through my childhood and things like that. But then again, then there are other women who just different personalities and not at all relating to my point of view on the topic. And they're like, hey, I'm out here making my movie already, so like come catch up, which is perfectly great and wonderful. And then beyond that, just the fact that no matter who you are, we all have the, hey, pick me, notice me, I'm here. So even fellow filmmakers who are men in this industry, you know, we can watch folks maybe who have money and are like looking to make movies around here, and they're slinging it around every way, which way but our way, you know. And we're like, you know, it doesn't even regardless of gender. How does one get noticed or known or trusted with those wonderful opportunities?
Yeah, it's the struggle we're all going through, right? Like,
yeah. And
trying to be seen.
You just keep trucking. You know, it's always hard to hear and trust that it will work out, but I guess I've been doing it long enough now that sure, it's not where I would love it to be, but I can at least see the rewards of, you know, just keep going.
Well, speaking of rewards, we're getting you in here on a Thanksgiving week podcast because you got things coming up that people need to know about. Let's start local. So okay. You're singing the national anthem for the turkey trot here in Oceanside?
I am. So if we got any marathon runners out there, or walkers, actually, I think their slogan is come move your feet before you eat. At the Oceanside turkey trot. So I'm going to have to get up really too early to warm up my voice, but then be over there to sing at 6:45 and 8:05 races.
So this is Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I better start doing my singing warm-ups. So that's locally just a little thing I'm doing. And it's fun for Thanksgiving. So hope to see y'all out there.
Well, I have no plans for Thanksgiving Day, so.
Gonna come trot?
Yeah. I'll, well, I don't know if I'll trot, but I'm going to come out and listen to my good friend Karenssa sing. Like, that's a treat in of itself.
Why, thank you. I hope so. Got to deliver now.
Have you done public national anthem performances before?
I've actually done the national anthem at the Turkey Trot before, several years back. Oh goodness, it's been a while though. I'm horrible. So I'm not one who has much school spirit. So if I was at a sporting event, I used to be like a basketball player. So I would go for basketball to play the games, obviously. But other than that, if I'm not playing the game, I'm not at a sporting event unless I'm singing the national anthem. It's so bad. Yeah. I graduated from UCLA and I did not ever attend a single event. I don't know if I even sang at any. So
I mean, that's okay. I mean, I went to Baylor for a couple of years. I never went to any of the football games there either. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big football fan, so that might be part of it. But
yeah, me too.
It's like whatever.
Some people are not liking us right now. Yeah.
Whatever.
Cha.
I'm a soccer fan. I've been dealing with people not being happy with my preference of sport for a long time. So
I just don't even watch any form of sport. I mean, if I need to, I will, but I haven't needed to. So
you got other things that you're interested in.
It's true.
So that's
true
fine.
Story.
Everybody's got their things that they're passionate about. I mean, I got a ton of toys sitting around my living room.
It's fabulous.
You'd never have in your house. So
I'll be content with kittens. All I need is like a house full of cats.
How many cats do you have?
Just one, but he needs to have brothers and sisters because he can't take my love. Like I smother him and he's like, Mom, really? Yeah. So.
That's funny. How long have you had him?
He's about 2.5 now, I think. So. Oh God, my reputation as the crazy cat lady perpetuates.
Nope. You only have one. You only have one. You only have one.
But I have dreams of so much more.
One of my closest friends, she had this cat that she just adored. She had him for 18 years.
Yeah, that's a good long life.
He had all sorts of health issues. I mean, she dumped thousands of dollars into taking care of this cat. He finally passed away like a year ago, and she's got a whole shrine to him in her living room and stuff. And I went to visit her house. She just moved into this house recently, and she's walking me through all the house and everything. She's very proud. It's a nice place. And we get to this shrine, and she flips on the light, and she's like, "Is it weird? It's weird, right? Like any guy coming in here is gonna be like, oh my God, crazy cat lady, right?" And I was like, "No, it's not weird. Like this was your family member for almost 2 decades, right? Like anybody who is at all interested in you is going to have to just understand that,
I guess I kind of do have a cat shrine, but it's not for a specific animal. It's like because people know I'm a cat lady, they just give me lots of cat stuff. So then I found a home for it all. There's like a cat corner.
That's not any different than this table full of figurines that I got for my birthday.
You're right.
People know I'm into toys,
there
so
you
I
go.
just get a bunch of toys.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be chew toys. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'll have to get you a cat stuffed animal to go with your toys. Some kind of cat toy for you.
I had a cat something somewhere. I don't know where it is. There's a turtle.
I got plenty to spare.
Penguin and a duck. Not sure where the cats went. There was a cat something in here at one point.
I believe you. I'm not judging. It's fine. I only trust cat people. No. I have nothing against dogs. I like dogs too.
Cats are what we grew up with.
Yeah, me too. I've never had a dog. I
had a dog in college for 4 months, and I came back to California from Texas to visit my family. And while I was here, I got a phone call. Your dog got hit by a car.
No.
That's the only dog I ever had. So, but my baby sister's got a dog, chocolate lab.
Nice.
He was here for a couple weeks before she moved up to Long Beach. It was okay, I guess.
Okay, so you're not so much of a dog person?
No.
I have nothing against them.
My mom had a little Pomeranian that we lived with here for 4 or 5 years. Her Pomeranian passed away 6 months before my mom. It's like they went together kind of thing. And that was okay. I saw what it meant to my mom, to have a little companion that followed her around. Jody's got Tiki,
Oh, so cute. Ridiculous.
Who I call Apple
I can't even believe that dog is real.
It's fine. People can love what they love. I don't have any bones about it one way or the other. So singing the national anthem on Thursday. I'm definitely going to come out for that. Let me know if you need somebody to like drive you. So
thank you.
You can just focus on warming up your voice.
Yeah, or just getting warm. Period. That's gonna be cold, man.
Yeah, because we live like practically next to each other.
Hello, neighbor.
And then was it Saturday?
Yes,
Saturday.
Very excited.
On Lifetime.
Yes, right? Yes. I have a really adorable Christmas or holiday movie coming out this Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday at 10 p.m. on Lifetime. And I'm sure many times on reruns. I think.
Right, like all month,
like
all the days it'll be on.
Yeah, so set your DVR or tune in at 10, and if the worst happens and you miss it, check your local listings. It'll probably be on Sunday as well.
It'll probably be streaming somewhere too. Like
that's a good question. Yeah, depending on how Lifetime works, all that. But yeah, it's a really adorable film. I got to go to the screening up in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago, and it was so amazing to sit in the audience and look up at the screen about a project I was like really, really, really proud of, because it doesn't happen all the time, you know. Right. Sometimes you have like your hopes and dreams pinned on a project, and it never even gets fit out of post, you know, so that happens. So to see it all come together and be lovely and beautiful, and I just really adored the people that made the film as well. Sally Struthers is in it from back in the day, All in the Family, I believe she's quite well known for, and she is hilarious. Yeah. So, you know, we all stayed in the same area, the same inn, where we filmed in Colorado, in an area called Crested Butte. It's a little tiny town 4 hours away from Denver. So I was, you know, around all these great folks, but not all of my scenes necessarily were with all of them. Right. And so I didn't get to see a lot of the work until I was at the screening, and she's hilarious. She's amazing. I love her. So
what's the name of the project?
Oh my gosh. Who's the worst advertiser ever? This girl. Christmas Harmony is the name. It stars Kelly Jackal, who was in all of the Pitch Perfect film franchise, and she is absolutely darling and amazing and wonderfully talented.
That's why she looked familiar. I was watching the trailer. I'm like, why does she look familiar? Yeah. She looks really familiar. Yeah. Pitch Perfect. I'm a huge fan of Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, me too. And let's see, some really, you know, great talent in it. And I gotta say, our writer was also our director, and she also was a songwriter. We have 6 original songs in the film. I wouldn't call it a movie musical, but I would call it a movie with music, because we're not so much breaking out into song as it is that the characters, some of them are musicians, yes, and so they happen to sing and play instruments and things like that. So it was, you know, I come from a musical theater background, so it's like a dream of mine to be in a movie musical. So I'm like, I'm just that much closer. So,
well, I'm also a fan of Grey's Anatomy, and
yes, Chandra Wilson is in it.
Chandra Wilson's in it. Yeah.
Thank you for like knowing so much more about me than I do, because I forget things. Chandra Wilson is in it from Grey's Anatomy. So that was very exciting. They were publicizing that. So
did you get to work with her much?
My stuff was in Colorado, and her stuff was in Los Angeles, because the film takes place. Well, I don't want to give much away. Let's say there was a road trip of sorts involved, and I'm in only one of the locations.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So she was in the other location. But Sally Struthers and Lee Garrington, who does a lot of SAG events up in Los Angeles, but you know has an amazing resume and was in Field of Dreams and things like that. It was a great group of people.
That's cool. Yeah. How long were you in Crested Butte working on it?
Gosh, I think it was somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. And I didn't necessarily have to work every day on that. I was working like 2 other jobs from my computer on my days off. So it's funny, actually. I'm always happy to be on set and to be a part of this like feel-good movie. And that's all great and wonderful. But I think because I was working 2 jobs from my computer every other waking moment that I wasn't on set, when I would get to set, it was like Christmas morning every day when it was like my scenes to shoot. I was that person who like turns to people. It's not like I'm new, but like I would turn to people and be like, "We're making a movie! Isn't that so exciting?" just because I think I was overworked with my other stuff, you know?
Well, I think part of the magic of doing this too is not losing sight of the fact that it's exciting.
Yeah.
To get to do all this stuff,
Yeah.
Like, I think the second you become jaded that we're making a movie, like,
yeah, it's not a chore.
It's not a chore. It's a privilege that we get to do this,
Yeah.
as a living.
Yeah.
like some of us.
But I was super giddy. Like sometimes I just get so happy that people get this look in their eye.
Maybe it was just because you were at elevation and lack of oxygen. And
Yeah. But it was.
When was it you were doing that?
Goodness, we shot. Oh my gosh, they put this thing together so fast in like quality. I say that not like threw it together. Like I just am so impressed. We shot that. My part was in April.
Wow.
And then I know after that they went to LA and did a little bit more of a shoot in May for the things that they had to do in Los Angeles. And I mean, I don't know how many of the credits will show up on, Lifetime. Sometimes they scroll really fast,
right.
But hey, check it out on IMDb because check out what Nanea Miyata, our writer, director, songwriter, did. And then she, I think, edited it as well. That was, I don't think she knows how much I loved watching her do her thing. To see, like, we're of comparable age, and to see her doing this thing that I'm striving to also set out to do and do it so well. She's just like on top of her game and on the ball and able
she's super young, apparently.
Yeah. Super young. Like, we're both, just barely over 18. Just kidding. But that was really great and some beautiful DP work. Yeah, I'm just gushing over here. So Christmas Harmony, Saturday at 10 p.m. on Lifetime.
Yeah, I watched the trailer twice.
You did?
And it looks really good.
I'm in it twice. How about that?
I know. I was like, look, there's Karenssa. Oh, she's in it again.
I'm in it again. And I should warn y'all, it's not a real baby bump because I scared some people when I was over there shooting and I posted this Instagram photo of myself with this giant belly, and they all thought,
did see that photo.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that photo and thinking, she must be on a film.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, whoa, I know we kind of lost touch, but I didn't know we lost that much. Yeah. So I have not had children as of yet. But yes, I play a very gregarious and very pregnant character named Pam, who is the childhood best friend to Harmony. As in Christmas Harmony.
How was it? Because you've worked on everything from tiny films with next to no money to films like this. What do you think the experience like? How different is the experience working on stuff like the little things we do in San Diego versus running off to Crested Butte with a location team and shooting a film for Lifetime? Like, how different is that experience? Is it because I know some of us get in our own heads, we get scared of the next step and the next level and kind of moving ourselves to the next stage in the craft.
Gosh,
is it daunting going to bigger sets like that, or is it a natural flow for you?
So I love this question. It's a very big question, and I could give so many answers that would seem contradictory, but they aren't. It's just like every set is different. So every answer to that question would be different depending on that set. So for instance, though this film is airing on Lifetime, I did not know it would be airing on Lifetime when I made the film.
Okay.
And I was just so excited. I had a good feeling about the project, and I was just so excited to be a part of it. And so I was already on cloud nine in terms of that. But what was refreshing is that I guess I knew I would be showing up to do my job, and that everything else would be taken care of. Like there was a very present team, that they knew what they were doing, and I could trust they're going to go do their thing, and I get to concentrate on what my thing is. That can be the case on the smaller stuff, not always, but then. Even before I go to that, I want to say, like, how am I different, or do I get freaked out going on something bigger? In that scenario, I did not get the freak out. I was just excited, right? The freak out exists, though. I think it because I could still feel like an indie feature film vibe, or I just didn't know, But there are things out there, like when I did Veronica Mars. If I were to get booked on something today, like a CSI, the freak out would commence,
Right.
because those are machines. And as much as I've trained as an actor, no one really teaches you how to be on set. You can go to film like on camera classes, but no matter what, again, every set is different, and there's just so much you won't know that happens. Like, I got away with not telling you this story when I was on here last time. You actually wanted to hear it, and then we didn't do it. And now here I am. I have this horrible problem of just sharing everything I don't want people to know about me. This reminds me. Yes, when I was on Veronica Mars, I was young and naive and inexperienced. And I was shooting for a day there. And there was this woman on set who had a loud voice and was very authoritative and would pronounce declarations to people, okay? And so that scares me, and I just want to not get in trouble. So whatever she says, I'm going to do. The thing is, though, she wasn't the director. She was in charge of the extras. And I was not an extra. And yet, when she said, "Nobody make a peep," I listened. So when they said action and I'm supposed to go across the screen and yell at my best friend, I mouthed the words. Yeah. And then they were like, "Cut. Did you say your line?" I was like, I said it. And then we had to go again because I was just scared of the lady who was yelling. And I didn't want to get in trouble. See, there's a lot of this
Hilarious.
stuff. Yeah, I got things to work on, people. I know. So I just didn't know that there would be such a circus happening on those big budget machine type of things. You really have to know what you're doing and have presence of mind, and be prepared for anything. And that's why I think you were sharing a story before we started. And this popped in my mind. I had an acting teacher back in the day say, you need to, all actors need to know their lines so well that you could be getting stabbed with a hot poker and you still know your lines.
Right.
And that's just to say, like, you're going to be tested and conditions will not be ideal.
Right.
And I have to remind myself of that still, because sometimes I'll forget. And he was like, nope, you got to be ready for anything.
How do you approach learning lines? Because everybody seems to have a different approach to it. And different
it's so
technique.
weird. Yeah, and sometimes I'll be consistent. Other times I won't be. And again, for some reason, certain scripts I'll do different ways. But if I have the luxury of time, what I like to do is like a trifecta, I believe it is. I do record them, even though I never used to, because I heard acting teachers say, don't record your lines because you don't want to learn how to say them in a pattern. I'm like, okay, well, I just won't learn them in a pattern. I just want to I can't, if I'm driving, I can't read the lines. So I'll have them there and I can listen to them if I need to, just to test myself. So there's that. What I really love to do is, perhaps when I've already got a good handle on it, the way I like to test myself is writing them out. And I find, for me, a lot of great stuff comes up when I write it out because it slows me down. It's no longer just a recipe. Like, it's great to learn it like it's a recipe and you can just, rattle it off. But it starts also to become dead. And so I like writing it out because writing it out slows me down. And
It also gives you like a physical connection to the word on the paper. Right?
I guess. I think more for me, though, is my brain just starts to wander as I write. Like, why this? Why that? Oh, what if this? And oh, that's why she does, the eurekas can start coming. Also just going on walks, thinking about it and going over it and things like that. I'm probably missing one of them, but it's because I just realized I also wanted to go back and answer your earlier question about the different kind of sets and locally. I remember doing what was it called? An actors on directing panel with San Diego Media Pros last year. And I really enjoyed it. And the other two actors, including Merrick McCarthy, was there. And they have the blessing of being on some like much bigger shows than I've been on, you know, and so they know much more about working on in that machine type of thing and coming in and doing the job, right? But I found myself like keep wanting to pipe up for the little guy, or like meaning locally, local, because we were speaking locally. You know, we were here in San Diego speaking about what is it like and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or how-tos on directing the actor. And yeah, I want to know how to be on those big things too. But is that information the most beneficial to the group in front of us right now? So I like always kind of wanted to make sure we got the full spectrum. So I was like, I was like beating a dead horse. Like, it depends on the set. It depends on you got to read your people. You got to read your cast and read the room. And you can't just be rigid on, well, this is what a so-and-so does. And this is what a, such and such does. That's all great and fine. And we need to learn the positions on a set and what they all do. But locally, that just doesn't always happen.
Right.
We don't always have the full team.
Right.
So just, acknowledging where we're at and what we're doing.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to that panel. I think I was out of town. I'm always out of town when ST Media Pros does stuff. It's bizarre.
I know, me too.
San Diego filmmakers as well. Like every time they've got something, I'm busy with something else.
It's hard.
But, like I have a lot of opinions on directors and how they should work with actors. And it's something I've made a huge focus of my own for the last probably good 6 or 7 years, and I think a lot of directors go through phases like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to really direct my crew, and then I'm gonna learn how to direct the actors.
Yeah,
because you can't just step on set and suddenly you're a great director,
right? Yeah.
It's a rarity that somebody's able to just step on set and have it all functioning.
I mean, we could spend our whole lives continuing to learn about every nook and cranny there is to learn about this industry, because it's just, there's a reason there's so many jobs on a set.
Exactly.
And, I think, John Freeman was amazing to include me in our film Capture that we co-wrote, co-produced, co-directed, and I was in and did set dressing for, and he DP'd. We were tired after that. But he was wonderful to include me in that, and I think we actually got great feedback from our team in terms of when we were in production, how we worked so well collaboratively together. It really did. It was just like the things I lacked, he picked up on. The things he didn't have time for, I did.
People ask Teresa and I all the time, how do you two co-direct? How does that even work? And we both just kind of go, just does.
Yeah.
Like
it didn't even dawn on me that our team going into it, I heard later, a lot of them were like, oh God, I don't know how this is going to go to directors. And then during and after, they were like, this is going really well. You guys work really well together. I'm like, oh, thank you. But that being said, John did pull my leg and was like, yeah, you need to read a book. Like, which I have, but I know a lot, but there's a lot more I need to learn. And I don't know where he thought I was going to get this magical information overnight. It's going to take me a long time to learn everything, especially when it comes to the technical side. But I do have a very good handle on, obviously the actor side.
Yeah, but you can be a successful director and not learn the technical side of it. I mean, Kevin Smith has made a career out of not knowing anything about how a film's shot.
Yeah, I mean, I had a singing teacher who used to tell me that because I obviously my background in singing also, and my insecurity is about, sight singing and stuff like that. And there are famous opera singers who can't do that, and they just go to coaches, So It's true. Yeah. But it also, it's a frustration and a love that, like you say, you have a lot of opinions on directing, as do I. They probably don't all mesh, but that's the beauty of it. You can have your own rules, and they're true and right for you.
Yeah.
And then it's about how do we work with one another when they don't exactly line up. I don't know why I'm compelled to share this. I'm just going to go where my brain wants me to go. It might not make sense to anyone, but I'm also Meisner trained. And in Meisner, there's a thing called repetition, which often gets made fun of. People just think it's screaming at each other, but it's not. But basically, in repetition, you have two people looking at each other, or it's even a group, and the direction basically is say what you see. And what I love about that, if you're just saying what you see, you are never wrong.
Right.
you might not be right to the person you're saying it to. Like, they might be like, no, that's not what I'm feeling right now. That's not the look I gave you.
Yeah, but they're not seeing what you see.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fine. I wasn't asked to say what you're giving. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. And they kind of feel like that with the different positions on set, or like talking about directing, or came up again. I know you and I had this conversation in the car the year ago when we were heading to Terry's class. And then someone else just recently brought it up as well about, it was, I believe, Rich Varville was talking about the importance of continuity, you know, and actors and continuity. And I think you and him want to have like more classes for San Diego actors about the importance of continuity with acting. And
Well, I never want continuity to get in the way of performance, but bad continuity can get in the way of a good final film.
Yes.
So, you know, there has to be a balance between an actor being aware of it enough that they don't commit egregious continuity problems.
Right. And I just can't. And then, of course, just because I'm coming from the actor POV, and I say, of course, not that every actor would even agree with me, but I want to like defend like spontaneity and all of these things. And I think if we had a long enough conversation, we would absolutely agree right in the middle. But it's just like the lens through which we're viewing it and where our priorities lie or our background lies. I always like get a little, like my little antenna goes up when I hear folks talking about continuity. I mean, it's important, and I notice it when it's wrong, like you're saying, when it's egregious and all that stuff. But more than just like defending the actor point of view, I'm actually interested in the conversation, and you know,
yeah. I mean, my thing is like you can maintain continuity and still have the freedom to explore a scene. It's just about remembering the changes that you make when you discover something new, so that in subsequent takes you're repeating the thing that was spontaneous and becomes the regular part. So if we have to cut to another angle right away, it's not like your arm's up here and in the next cut your arm's down. Like, that's wildly difficult for the editor to figure out how to work around sometimes.
Well, and I think, yeah, if I get to do more, if I do more directing in the future, and I get to do the beginning to end process all the way through post and get to, you know, be there going through all the pains that the editor has to go through.
Yeah, once you sit in an edit bay once you sit in the edit bay and you start looking at this beautiful piece of performance and realize there's no way I can use this take.
Yeah.
Because it's so wildly different from all the other takes around it, and I have to cut away. Like, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You know? And
that's interesting that you say that, because that's partly what I think of, which is, we could probably totally have this conversation, like, not on the air, but hey, why not? I always think when people talk about continuity and like, oh, well, you know, if they didn't raise their arm or put their arm down at the same time, I'm thinking, yeah, but you also, sometimes we just stay with a shot. So if I put it on a different word at a different time, if you just stayed on that shot, it didn't matter because it was a long shot anyway. But I know it limits the options.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, it's not having the differences take to take are not completely do or die. Like, I understand there's just a balance there, you know? It's like the world doesn't end because you could just have a one shot the whole time.
You could.
You want to have options. I understand.
But, you know, and sometimes it's not even about you particularly. It's the person you're acting with. And I have to now cut around some bad performance that they did.
Right. You want to have somewhere to go.
You know, so yeah, it's a long take, sure, you know, but the first half of that take was really great. The second half blew it, you know, but the second half of a different take was really wonderful. And I've got to cut back to you, you know, so that I can cut between the two of them. If you have your arm up in their take, but your arm's down because you figure you're just in the foreground element, you know, it's continuity things like that.
Yeah.
You know, that I think a lot of actors sometimes forget is like, just because you're not the primary focus doesn't mean you're off the hook.
Well, no, I think that
for maintaining your continuity.
That can also be communication.
Yeah.
Like some folks don't want to know what the frame is, but that is something that can then, you know, relate to it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like sometimes you see things, you're like, I did not know I was in that shot, guys.
Yeah. And that's kind of always been the thing for me with the conversation about continuity is like, if you're not asking whether you're in frame or not, you have to act like you're still in frame. Period. you know, and maintaining your continuity of your performance physically and stuff, even when you don't think you're the primary focus, is important.
It's such a domino effect, though, because if the job of the actor is to react, like any one of the two people or more, changing it up is going to have like a ripple effect.
Yep.
Or for the sake of continuity, do we stick to our guns and I'm going to do it exactly the way I did it before, even though the person I'm acting with did not give me the reason to react that way I did before. You know, so it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, this conversation will continue because I don't disagree with you. I'm just, you know, I like to fight for the other side too.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I don't ever want continuity to get in the way of somebody finding something amazing in a performance. And I think it's my job as the director on set to help actors find and discover new aspects of a character that maybe they didn't step on the set thinking about to begin with. That's part of the process, you know, but somewhere in there's got to be a balance between, you know, just it's a chaotic set and, hey, we've got like things we have to do on the mechanics side of it too.
You don't want a runaway train. Definitely not.
So, because that ripple effect can get really out of hand. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So.
No, trust me, I'll be eating my words as soon as I'm in the editing bay.
And it is painful when you look at something and you're just like, I have to use this other take that's not as good a performance because it just doesn't match into anything else.
Yeah.
You know?
Which goes back to something else you were talking about earlier, missed opportunity or lost potential.
Yeah.
Oh, it stings. It hurts.
So, but it's so cool that you're going to be on Lifetime. Like, I got all these friends like showing up on TV now. Like,
it's finally happening.
It's like amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Merrick keeps popping up on stuff everywhere. My friend Fiona's on The Good Doctor. I mean, she's one of the leads on that show now. Amazing. It's incredible. Girl we grew up with. Her photos on our wall over there with my sisters.
Yeah, I'm sure 20 years overnight success, right?
Right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to see everybody doing so well right now, and things moving forward. You know?
I'm excited to have these opportunities that I've been striving for, working out, and at the same time, it's a blessing that I have that going on and branching out into the new positions on set. So, because there's a part of me that's afraid of like if I branch out to other things, which I've been doing, like casting and directing and producing and writing. Well, I think it happened actually very quickly. As soon as I like reached out to someone about like, I was considering them, I was going to tell them about a casting gig because I was working in casting. They came back to me with oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. And I'm sure they didn't mean it this way, but like the impression I got was like, now you do this. Like, you're not an actor anymore. I'm like, no. Like, please always remember I'm an actor. That's at the core of it all. I'm just also doing other things too.
Yeah.
So,
if you pay attention to this business enough, there's plenty of actors who step into the director chair.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they become directors. You know, Zach Braff has directed a couple of films. One of them I really, really loved. I think Garden State is still one of my favorite films from, you know, the last 15 years. But he's still an actor. You know, like that's the primary thing I picture him as an actor. Karen Gillan directed a film recently that's been doing really well on the festival circuit and stuff. And
I didn't know who she was until that Jumanji movie. And I was like, who is that girl? She's great. And then I realized she's in Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah, that's where I first got to know her. And she's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. And
oh, okay.
She's blue and purple in that.
That's probably why I didn't recognize her. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did learn that after the fact.
Yeah, she's always Eldana's sister in the Guardians films.
I'm actually just catching up on the whole Doctor Who thing. I just started this past year. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very far along. I'm David Tennant. I'm like done. I'm up to his reign.
Well, you and Whitney should be talking.
Oh really?
Because I just got Whitney into Doctor Who too.
Okay.
Because we actually did a bunch of panels at San Diego WhoCon a couple weeks back. We actually did a readers theater. Did one of the radio plays live for an audience, which was really fun. But like Whitney was the same thing. She's like, I don't really know anything about Doctor Who. I'm like, all right, here's my Amazon Prime password. Go watch. You know?
Yeah.
And so she's been watching, and I think she's up to Matt Smith now.
Okay.
But it's been fun getting messages from her periodically, like, "Oh my God, I love David Tennant, and I love this."
It's an interesting concept for a show where it's such an open door. It's such an open door policy for different people to play the same part and it not be a soap opera.
Right? It gets a little soap opera,
but it's
at times,
technically not a soap opera.
But it's an interesting show because it's been on for so long.
Yeah,
and in addition to replacing the lead who plays the Doctor, you replace the people who perform around him.
Yeah.
Different characters become the companions, and the showrunners are changing every 2 to 6 years.
It's like a really sweet gig.
So it's constantly an evolving show, and actually it just came back recently for the new season. Completely new showrunner and a female playing the Doctor.
Yeah, and she was from Broadchurch, which also starred David Tennant.
And the guy who ran Broadchurch is the guy who's now running Doctor Who.
I see what they did there.
So it's like it's got a whole different feel to it now.
That's partly why I started with the older ones, building up my way.
Yeah, it's really cool to just watch that as a storyteller, as a director, as a producer, as an actor. Like I really get a kick out of watching that show evolve and change and
Man,
grow in different directions.
When I first started it, I was like, "Whoa, we got some camp up on in here." I loved me some Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which has some good amount of camp. But
when they first came back, that was the Russell T Davies, the guy who brought Doctor Who back. That was his deal. He's like, we're going to bring that Buffy the Vampire Slayer sensibility to the new Doctor Who.
It's like they knew.
And that it very much felt that way in the first couple of new seasons.
Because for me, the first ones. Wait, which ones do you mean he brought that vibe back?
So Chris Eccleston, the Doctor before David Tennant.
Okay, the first season one.
He was one season.
Yeah,
that was when it came back. So the show had gone off the air in the early 90s, 93, 94, and didn't come back again until 2005 when Chris Eccleston played the Doctor and Russell T Davies was the showrunner. And he was the showrunner all the way through David Tennant's era too. But yeah, when he brought it back, part of his pitch to BBC was, we can have our own Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe. We just got to resurrect Doctor Who. They do.
Proportionally wise, they have a fair bit extra camp, I would say, than Buffy did. Camp would Buffy would every couple
go
of
back and
episodes
rewatch Buffy. It's pretty campy.
It's dated, and they had camp, but they balanced it.
And don't forget though, 2005 is 13 years ago. So those are dated too.
And to be fair, I mean, Billie Piper, I really enjoy her as an actress in general, and got to finally see her Doctor Who days. And I think she's a huge element of balancing out that show with the camp and then the grounded realism and all that.
And the new companions for the Doctor all through the new series have been kind of that way. They're the ones that ground him and keep him kind of from going into too much Shakespearean antics.
Well, Dave Dawson, when I came here today, I did not think we'd find our way to Doctor Who, but we did.
Hey, talk to me long enough, it eventually comes around to Doctor Who.
For me,
you'll understand the Fez at some point.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's of no surprise that I've already mentioned my love of cats and now Buffy. Like those are, in the dictionary, that's with my picture, it's those things. I was in the dictionary.
I watched Once More with Feeling again, about a month and a half ago. Yeah.
Buffy musical.
Buffy the musical.
I used to love to sing it. Okay, we digress.
So you've got some projects coming up next year.
Yes. Well, and before that, something that's also this week, which I'd love to get.
You've got a really busy week.
I know. The past month, oh my gosh, I've had so many screenings. Screening in LA, 2 screenings back to back in San Diego, or I don't know, that was somewhat off, but I intended well. But basically, I had 3 screenings in 2 weeks all over the place, and then now the screening's on air, which is awesome. So the other thing that's happening right now is that I'm executive producer on a film called Moving Out, and I'm also the casting director for that film. And it is made by the wonderful partners in crime. They are Rachel Ernest, the writer, director, and Ashley Monty, I believe co-writer and editor, and both of them producing. And it is a short film that we are actually currently crowdfunding for using Seed and Spark. I don't know, have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And so we have a Seed and Spark funding page. And it's only our first week of our campaign launch, and we've already reached over 55% of our goal, which is amazing. We're actually like above statistically how it usually goes. So we would love to reach the finish line even sooner. So if anyone's out there, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project and see if you're interested in helping us on our journey. It's like I said, it's sponsored, which means we have fiscal sponsorship from Film Independent. And that's an amazing organization. I know it's Los Angeles, but it might be other places as well. I'm not sure. But it is a nonprofit organization that champions creative diversity. And we definitely are thankful for the partnership with them. Our story is a family drama about the complexities of faith, community, and parent-child relationships. It's about the subtle and delicate shift from being a child to becoming an adult while under your parents' roof. So it really explores some really fun stuff there. Fun in the like complicated, tricky, emotional kind of a way. So if you want to find out more about moving out, you can check our page at www.seedandspark. That's SEEDANDSPARK.com/fund/moving out, or heck, just find me on Facebook and I have it on my actor page splattered everywhere, I'm sure. And we have our own, social media pages for moving out.
And I'll throw the links at the bottom of the show page for this
too. Thank you. That's easier than me spelling out things, huh? So I'm really excited about that because Rachel has been one of my best friends since like I was 13. And I've always wanted us to be like the female Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. And I'm fighting for Matt Damon, by the way, if we have to identify as one of them.
Matt Damon.
But her and her wife are really the force of nature behind this project, and I'm very blessed to be included with it and finally be making a film with some of my best friends.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dream in that way.
As a guy who makes films with his best friends all the time, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have, amazing San Diego filmmaker, close friends, best friends that I work with here as well. It's just the fact that Rachel and I have been pursuing the arts and entertainment industry since we were 13.
Right.
And have never collaborated. And I'm like, how does that happen? It's just ridiculous. So let's just like pull off that Band-Aid and get it over with. So I'm very blessed to be included in that. So thank you for letting me share.
Oh, you're welcome.
As far as the new year, I have several projects coming out that, of course, it's that tricky thing where I can't say too much about it, which is probably a blessing. Just stop me from talking. But I can give some log lines and things. I was very lucky to be included in Wendy Marshall's upcoming short film. I don't know if you probably saw Go Out and Violet Waters, right? Mm-hmm. That was amazing. Yeah. I was very impressed by that short film.
We were up against each other for Best Director at the Film Awards that year.
Oh, well,
I thought for sure she was going to win.
Yeah,
I was surprised when I won.
It was a good directorial debut film for her. It was excellent, and she is coming out with another short that we've already shot, and it's called "And Yet They Speak." So look for that. That'll probably going to festivals. It's a psychological horror film. And I believe her son, Skylar Marshall, was the impetus for the film, or he wrote the short story and then she adapted it into a screenplay. I hope I have my facts right there. But that was really nice to be asked to work with her, because we actually knew each other before I knew anyone in this community.
Really?
Wendy and I go way back on a feature film. I think back probably like 2013 or something. I don't know. And we were in a feature film together that, I don't know if it ever got released or anything, but I met Wendy, and that's all that matters. Also, I have a feature coming, and a couple features. I can't say too much about, but one of them is called Everybody Dies by the End. And it is written by Ian Tripp here from San Diego and being directed by a name you've heard me say quite a bit today, John Freeman. So I think they're going to do like a social media blast come sometime in late December, but it is a feature film produced by Neon Midnight. And I think they might be doing some crowdfunding as well in February. So that is going to be a fun, bit of a kooky project as well.
I need to get John Freeman on the show, so
Yeah,
tell him to reach out and do the social media thing with me, and I'll get him on the show. We'll talk about the project.
Sometimes he can be a hard man to get a hold of, but
yes, he can.
I'm sure you will have an amazing conversation. It will go places.
He's a fascinating individual.
Yeah,
every conversation I've ever had with him has been.
I love chatting with that guy. Yeah, it's awesome. And then I also had earlier this year, actually, when I was saying that I was working from my computer doing 2 jobs while also shooting Christmas Harmony, it was because one of them I was a casting director on a short film for a project in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And so that is called Sister Mercy, and it's a short thriller that's in post-production right now. And it's going to go to festivals, or it's being submitted currently to festivals. And I'm going to share the log line with you because it's a fun little one. It says, a mysterious nun shows up at the door of a sinister suburban home in the middle of the night asking for a teenage runaway who has called her saying she's being held captive inside. So let's see what's up with that nun, is what I say. A mysterious nun is always intriguing. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's cool that you got so much lined up already.
Yeah, it is.
That's fantastic.
I know. I wish I could share more about some of the other ones, but also, things change. You don't want to jinx yourself.
Well, and I'm going to be here. So, when you're ready and you can talk about those things, you're always welcome back on the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very thankful to get out the word about Christmas Harmony on Saturday and also moving out in our crowdfunding campaign. So thank you.
And the Turkey Trot on Thursday.
And the Turkey Trot on Thursday. Someone's been taking notes and paying attention.
So thanks for sitting down and chatting with me again, Karenssa. It's always great to catch up with you.
Likewise. It doesn't happen enough.
I think the last time you were in, we talked about hey, we live right across the street from each other. We should take some walks and stuff together, and it's never happened.
But I tried.
You did try, but I was out of town.
Okay. I'm easily discouraged. Have you not been listening?
And I'm pretty sure I then reached out to you when I was in town and you were out of town.
Oh, see what I'm like? Yeah.
But we just got to, what I'm saying is we got to double down the effort. And because, I like hanging out with you.
Likewise.
When we see each other on events and stuff, it's always nice to talk to you. And
that's always a good
we have worked together at least twice.
Oh, gosh. Bring it on. Okay, I was like, the second one. Yeah. I know.
We have worked together at least twice. I would like to work with you again sometime down the road.
Yeah,
when I get around to a SAG film.
Hey, they're not that hard.
But in the meantime, film friend, just right across the street practically.
I know. I'm really close. Yeah.
So let's hang out.
We just have to get out of our houses because we're both a bit of homebodies.
We have to encourage each other to get out of the house.
Yeah. Go for those walks at the beach, man. They're the best.
Sweet. All right. So everybody make sure you check out the crowdfund for Karenssa's project, Moving Out. And this Saturday, make sure you check her out on Lifetime.
Yeah. It's really cute. I really hope you guys like it.
And so thank you for coming.
Thanks so much.
All right. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Hello there, citizens. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the floaty that will not flush no matter how many times you try in the toilet bowl of crime. I am Darkwing Duck, telling you please, talk hard and enjoy the mindgasm. Whatever the heck that means. After all, you are watching Intellectual Podcast with your ears.